Market update here on the 14th. So I'm going to start off with here with SPY. We had a down day. That was one of the options here. And let's just go over it from the very beginning of July, kind of update on the overall chart. So this right here is an ABC move. This right here, also ABC. And this right here, although it looks like it could be a 5-wave move, I don't think it is. It's an extended C wave here. So we have ABC right here. And then we currently just finished up an ABC move right here. So that could potentially be the top, except for the fact that we got another corrective move right here. And this move right here can be a lot of different things. I actually kind of like this kind of like falling wedge kind of setup here. And I think this is potentially finished, to be honest. I had this zone right here highlighted in the last video. We went through the 432 demand zone. We have a demand zone right here down to 428.25. And the 1.61 fib is a little bit lower than that, but I think that we might have already bottomed on this move. So we'll see. But this could potentially be something like this. Kind of a funky, like falling wedge kind of thing. And we're ready to take off higher now. So I think that we're either bottomed or we have one more move lower. So if we get one more move lower, it would probably be down to 427. But you can see right here, it's pretty much respected this parallel line. So maybe it comes down here to 429 early in the week. But I don't think there's that much more downside here. That's currently what I think. We're in demand. I don't see we bounced out of that demand zone. So we have earnings coming up. We have Tesla earnings next week. So if this is corrective and this was corrective, then we are looking for a final move higher here. And I honestly think that we can get all the way up here to 448. There's a gap fill up here at 448. And that's actually one of the spots I think we can get to. This seems a little bit short, even though it would respect the trend line. This would be a false break above the trend line, but I think 448 makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. If we know that this is not an impulsive move here, we know this is ABC, and then this is ABC, then we know we're going to get a move to the downside at some point, but we also know that that's not going to be the start of a collapse. We're not going down to like 300 here. So while that was possible, excuse me, while that was possible, a few weeks ago, it's not as possible now with all these corrective moves. So the 1.61 fib of the C wave is right around pretty close to 448. Comes right into this supply zone right here. And so we can either get a WXY move, so this could end up being like gap fill, pullback, higher like that, or we can get just a classic 5-wave move like that. So overall, I think that this move is going to have another week or two of upside, and then after that we're ready to fall off the cliff, because now we have a completed, well, this is actually going to be WXY, so now we have W, X, and then I'm looking for a Y wave down here, probably, let's see, this would take about 3 months. we're looking probably going into December, maybe sometime in December, bottoming, and then in January ready to go new highs. So that's kind of the look I expect over the next 2 months. So move higher here, maybe into earnings, and then fall off a cliff into December. So I think that that makes a lot of sense for the next couple of months. So I think that buying calls here, going long here on a lot of stocks makes a lot of sense. And we should see this gap and potentially this gap filled. So that is SPY. QQQ. And this one makes it even more obvious that it's an ABC move. We had a potential to come down here for a fifth wave, didn't do it, came all the way up here. And the same structure here. We have ABC lower right here into this demand zone. And so I think that with QQQ, we have a gap up here. And I think that's the only gap. No, there's a gap up here too at 382. So 382 is my target. So gap here, gap here. I'm looking for QQQ to go up close to 5% in the next probably 2 weeks. So I'm expecting it to go like this. And let's see where the 1.61 fib is. Right above that. So maybe it doesn't make it there, but it's going to get right into the supply zone at 382. So long is the play here. And then that would make this whole move, again, the same thing. And then we still can come down here. This would just make it a more dramatic fall. The 1.61 fib is still here at 330. So that's what's going to happen over the next couple of months. We're going to go up here to 382, and then we're going to fall down to potentially 330. So the farther they take this up, the more dramatic the fall. That's going to be like a, what is that, like 10 or 15% drop. However, we still have that as a fourth wave because we did not cross into the first wave. And so we're still looking for this. So that is the blueprint over the next couple of months. And I went pretty far into charting this, so I feel pretty confident about that. So gap fill at 382 and then fall off a cliff. So that's why I'm long on like all these other stocks. So we have Microsoft. This makes perfect sense for Microsoft. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 338 gap fill, and then this, of course, is a, and this is probably going to fill the gap at 280. Wave 1 was at 275. No, actually, wave 1 is down here at 262. So this would just be a deep fourth wave. And then I would expect Microsoft to go to new highs. So 280 and then move up here to 394. So you're going to be wanting to get some cash ready over the next couple of weeks because we should see huge move lower. Amazon. Following that same playbook, there's a little bit of difference here with Amazon though, and a few other ones. This is looking like 5 waves to me. And so, actually, let me see if this is ABC. This might be ABC. Yeah, this is actually probably ABC. So this can be ABC. If it comes down here farther into this demand zone, then it's probably 5 waves, because you can see here that this is clearly 5 waves. Second wave, let's just see. So this is probably a 4th wave here. So this one's a little bit off as far as what's going on. Maybe this turns into the bottom right here. It's an ABC move, but it looks like a 4th wave and a 5th wave to me. So I'm a little bit trying to figure out exactly what's going on with Amazon, because that could be 5 waves down in here to demand, and then maybe Amazon will just do this. Probably a good possibility it just does this. While the market's rising, it pulls back maybe 3 or 4% and then falls down down here to the gap fill at 315. Like that. So I would guess that this is probably it. Down here, bounce. But it is possible that I'm wrong somehow on this one. This one doesn't make as much sense to me, because we have ABCA here. We know that this is an expanded flat. And so that right there just tells you that we're going to see more upside. Because if we saw a 5-wave move, obviously it could be top, but this is showing you right here more upside. Expanded flat, we get a corrective move here. We have 5 waves potentially here. So that could be the start of the move down, but we'll see what happens with Amazon. It doesn't make as much sense along with the other ones. Maybe this ends up being an ABC move, and we get something like this, and then come down. All I know is it did not fill the gap, so you would think that if QQQ is going to go to 382, that this is probably going to go higher. So I would guess it's an ABC move, but it does kind of look like a 5-wave move. And the same thing with NVIDIA as well. So let's go over NVIDIA. So now NVIDIA, the same thing. It looks like it's 5 waves to me. And so I think that it might be the same structure as Amazon. It might just make a first wave here and then just pull back all the way to 470. So let's say it goes to 445 and goes back to 470. And then we get the move down. And this move can go all the way down to the 1.61 fib. So potentially all the way down here to 352. And you never know. NVIDIA could have topped out too. If it topped out, you're looking potentially at a gap fill down here at 320 before it bottoms. So if we get a big move lower in QQQ, NVIDIA could go, let's see, 317 seems like a pretty big move. It's like a 20 or 30% move. I would say it's more likely we just come down here to 385 and fill this gap right here. Just based on this is pretty much too far. But right now, putting in an impulse move, I would expect at least a second wave back up here to 468. So maybe a little bit lower early on Monday and then a move up. Meta. And Meta is the same thing. Amazon, Meta, and NVIDIA are on the same page. Looks like it could be a 4th wave here. So it probably topped out here at 330. So probably the same thing. Moves back up here, comes down to 312, moves back up here, and then that. That's what I'm guessing right now. It is always possible this could be another ABC move, but based on the timing of it, I don't think it has time to make ABC and then go higher. So I would suspect a second wave and then be ready to short it. What else we got? Apple. And Apple is on the same page as Amazon or as Microsoft. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, looking for a fifth wave higher. Potentially, you never know, it could come all the way up here to this gap fill at 190. But let's just see where the 1.61 fib is. Yeah, it could come all the way up here to like 188. It's at 178. So really, Apple and Microsoft are what I want to own for next week. But yeah, that's only going to make basically a lower high. But if you look at this whole move, it's just so it's A, B, and we're going to get a C wave down. So this right here is A, B, C. So look for another move higher in Apple and then a fall. If it comes up here to 189, you're looking at probably what I've been talking about, 164, 165. And what else do we have here? Tesla. So Tesla, obviously, it's doing the move that I talked about in the video yesterday. I am looking for this to potentially hit 246 early on Monday to complete the gap fill. But again, this is the same structure as the rest. A, B, C, looking for like 275, 280. All right, let's look at the dollar. So the dollar, so I think the dollar might be putting in it might go a little bit higher, but I think it's probably putting in a top. This was a corrective move, so I'm kind of speculating that the dollar is going to do this. Come down here, and then if you zoom out here, I already have it drawn up. I think the dollar might actually make a C wave higher. That's the only way the market's going to fall. So maybe the dollar didn't top out here. It did complete an ABC move, but it could be only A of a bigger ABC move. And that would just mean that we are delaying this right here. So that's coming at some point, but we could delay it a little bit longer. So I think that I went over pretty much all the tech stocks. QQQ, SPY. So QQQ looking for 382. SPY potentially 448. At the low end, 376, 440. And that's pretty much all there is to say right now. Look for another couple of weeks of upside, in my opinion. I think once we get to earnings, that's when we're going to start the real big move lower. At the least, I think next week will definitely be bullish. So that is pretty much it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe if you're not already. And I'll catch you in the next video. Maybe I'll do some growth stocks over the weekend. Have a good one.